And welcome. This is Top Rope Talk. I am the sniper. He's the pundit. And we have a loaded show for you today. Um, according to the headline, well, before we get started here, let me run this banner down here. That's reminding everyone to catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, DBTV, and Stream TV. And
And
also,
remind them,
you know what? Go ahead and remind them of the new coming up around next week.
we will be on a new network. It's for men, the ages of 40 to the 60s, NGBN.TV.
NGBN.TV. Target audience is middle-aged men, but of course, any and everyone is welcome to take part in it. We're always looking for followers, subscribers, and viewers, and also understand that the network is for a great cause. It's looking out for suicide awareness and mental health awareness. So always feel free to follow, watch the content. We're going to be pushing more of the taking care of mental health aspect as well on our various shows. Shout out to our new guy, Ian Hill, the CEO of NGBTV. And next week, it's on. So,
It is.
but for the time being, you can also catch us on DBTV and Stream TV for replays. Of course, hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell buttons on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. And also catch us on LinkedIn as well. So, the headline was college football meets pro wrestling and more. And you've heard me talk, some in different topics before, either on Punnet's Punnet or Gauntlet or even on here. There was that time that The Rock surprised Coach Prime on game day and everything. There was a hype tape that The Undertaker did before the game at Bama for the University of Texas. He's well-known Texas Longhorns fan. And so wanted to bring something up here, and that is this banner right
Love
here.
it.
That belt
Love it.
is awesome. And to be honest with you, there needs to be more belts like it because WWE they have a tradition now, a standing tradition that in pro sports the top champion, the champion, Super Bowl winner, NBA Finals winner, World Series, Stanley Cup, they will send them a custom WWE championship with the team's logo for the side plates. But I think this also could stand to be practiced in college ball. This is an awesome photo. I'm just going to show it one more time because I am a UT fan itself. And the Big 12 championship is back in Austin. So, with that being said, The Undertaker presented quarterback Quinn Ewers from the University of Texas with the Big 12 Championship MVP belt after Ewers was named Most Valuable Player. Following the Big 12 title game, the Horns defeated the Oklahoma State Cowboys 49-21. Quinn Ewers set a Big 12 championship game record in passing yards, and he tied the record in passing touchdowns. So, with this being said, and considering not only this, but the Undertaker's hype tape and everything, him being a known Longhorns fan, how much of an inspiration has this man been to the team?
He should have raised that belt and had Undertaker's music go on. They should have surprised him with the Taker's music.
That would have been great.
I know. That would have been or even better. What would have been awesome is, remember they showed him coming out, they gave him the belt. He should have just been like raising the MVP trophy. Undertaker's music comes on.
Yeah.
And then the smoke comes out, and then
That was good. I mean, that probably would have been a little too much because they already had the confetti and stuff going on.
But that would have been
awesome
that would have been amazing, though. That would have been amazing to watch. I mean, especially when the place would have popped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The place would have popped. It's like, no, it's been an inspiration, absolutely, and good to the Undertaker. Good for the Undertaker. He spent all those years pretending he lived in the grave, or was part of a motorcycle gang, or part of, you know what I mean? Yeah. He spent all those years doing all that. Now he can just enjoy life.
That's that's what I'm sitting here thinking too, because it's like he gave himself to us for 30, 31, 32 years, and it's like now he's like being him, and I really think he's enjoying it. That's not saying at all that he regrets his career. It's something new, and I think it's something that he's embracing because he's been a persona for so long. But it's crazy because whenever you ever watched him talk on game day or something,
Yeah.
And even though he's Mark Calloway, And I say that because I legitimately think that when the man dies, the Undertaker will go on his
Yes.
gravestone, on his headstone. But when you listen to him talk, you still hear elements of the Undertaker. I mean, they introduce him as the Undertaker, you know.
Oh,
But
and get this part here. I look at it this way. What you can get is, I think about how many things he missed over the years being that persona to us. He should have been on Sons of Anarchy.
he could have been.
He should have been on there. He could have been, it's one of those. And it's like, but here's the thing about this. How do you let him go? Like for instance, Opie, you could kill him the way they do. You can't kill Taker like that.
Yeah, you just can't do it.
You can't. No one would believe it. No, everyone's seen Taker be so dominant for so long. No one believes Taker could die.
He would have to appear on the good side for like a short scene and then just walk off into the sunset.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, it would have been awesome if he was, maybe he could have been a lead. Maybe he could be a silent leader of the crew or something like that.
I mean, he just doesn't have you don't just, if he was in a film, you don't just shoot him to death, okay?
No.
If he's going to die, a building has to fall on him. I mean, the whole building just collapsed, all 50 stories. Has to collapse on him, and he's on the first floor. That's how you kill the Undertaker.
No. And then after the thing's over, he goes like this.
Yeah, I know, right?
He goes over that and through the rubble.
You know, like the end of Terminator 2 when the thumbs up happened before he went down? They'd be like the Undertaker.
I know. No, but Taker has, Taker's gotten this life now, and he's got a beautiful wife, he's got kids, he's got all this. And the biggest thing, I hope he never gets back in the ring ever again. People will ask. I hope he never does. It's like, because he can still look good and not brutalize himself like Hogan did because he went too long.
That's true.
And it's like, let himself look good. Let him, because there isn't going to be, he's 6'9". Who's going to go mess with him even at 70?
Yeah, it's true, and you know what? It wasn't just the Undertaker, shout out to because I don't know if you watched the clip or anything.
Yeah.
But there was a WWE presence. Drew McIntyre was on that stage. So was Jade Cargill, as well as Sheamus as well. Of course, Michelle McCool was there. So there was a WWE presence there, and so, yeah, I know the Undertaker was kind of a highlight, and everything, but he definitely had some personnel with him. So, I mean, WWE definitely making an impact in any and everything. And I mean, as much as we may not be a fan of the old man, that's the impact of the old man right there. He turned it into a global entity.
Oh, and that's a lot of these ideas, these cool ideas, is in the Vince world. I mean, belts. I mean, remember, you used to have a belt, you lost it. Oh, dear God. Then you had to have a story. Where's the belt? It was stolen somewhere until they could go make another one. Now he's probably got one in a closet, 50 in a closet.
Yeah, and you know what? And when you look at stuff like this nowadays, the whole WWE kind of being in everything nowadays, this all started with the 1980s. This started when the Macho Man Randy Savage was on the Arsenio Hall show, or whenever Hulk Hogan would go on the Today Show or something like that. You know what I mean?
The Tonight Show.
It wasn't like this in the 60s and the 70s. No. It was too closed in. 80s was when it brought pro wrestling out into the other world. Didn't you tell me of one time when Michael Jackson apologized to Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, the Hulk Hogan,
he got him seats way in the back instead of up front.
Yeah. I mean, for taking a seat, yeah. Oh yeah, and it was and here's the Brooke at 8 years old having a stroke because it's Michael Jackson going up to them. But it's she told the story. But the big thing about this is he started all this. I mean, you had your little things. You had your things. You had this you had Freddie Blassie going on Dick Van Dyke Show, whatever. You had the deals. You had the stuff. You'd have Dusty doing ads. You had the little stuff, but you didn't have the rock star deal like you got in the 80s. It's you did. I'm sorry, it wasn't that same. It was like a rock star deal. I mean, look how many concerts you get at WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
Look how many things you get at WrestleMania. Look how many
every year.
I mean, you go to WrestleMania, you go to a concert.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of programming, remember back during the Attitude Era, you had some WWE wrestlers show up on USA programming because wasn't Edge on a Highlander episode?
Yeah,
Undertaker was on a few episodes of another show.
Yeah. Oh, Edge was Edge got. Bret Hart got he got a Lonesome Dove for a little bit.
Yeah, he did.
He got led to Lonesome Dove. They've had those. It's but the thing about Vince is like it's easy for the world to go say, "Oh, he's the old man." It's like he did it all. He did it all. It's like there are things about wrestling I wish would because I wish there were more Gunther's to me. I do. I do wish. I do. I think Gunther gives the idea of what Cornette talks about what wrestling could be now.
Exactly. I mean, I think we are in agreement that Gunther is from the wrong era, but also in the right era as well. Because if you put Gunther in like the NWA in the 1980s, how many times is he a world champion?
Oh my God, yeah. And it's like
He probably ties Ric Flair.
And here's the thing: he's also, I mean, Cornette is begging to manage him.
Yeah,
Cornette's begging to manage him just because everything. He's probably begging to manage Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I mean, just like go back to 1989 and imagine Gunther versus Sting, Blonde Sting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then Flair turning babyface in the 90s, going against Flair. Yep. And Flair was probably one of the greatest at facing big guys outside of Michaels.
Yeah.
So those were, it's like those are reminders. But I'm like, see, when I hear of, it sounds like sour grapes for an older guy like Cornette, but I believe him. You can make the toothpaste is out of the tube. It's over. We don't have to have the thing anymore. But you can still make wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
You can still make wrestling and have the concert and do everything and make people think, even if you don't scream at them anymore and get cause lawsuits. Mm-hmm. But you can still get them in that moment. And Gunther does that.
Yeah, he does. And you know what? You bring up Ric Flair, and that's a great segue into our next topic.
Oh, is it?
So he actually delivered a riveting hype clip donning a Michigan jersey prior to the Big Ten championship game. And the Wolverines went on to defeat the Hawkeyes 26-0 to capture their third straight Big Ten championship and go on to be number one in the final CFP polls. They're headed to the Rose Bowl to face Alabama. So with that being said, and between Ric Flair, there was the song with Offset and everything, and just his appearances is 30 for 30 and whatnot. And it seems like even for a guy in his mid-70s like Ric Flair, it's like more and more of the young generation is resonating with him. And I think it's because he was flashy. He was one of the original flashy guys. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like whenever you see somebody nowadays, and I mean, you can go and grab
with drip, dressing clean.
You can grab like any 21-year-old, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I'm looking like a modern-day Ric Flair. I got all of this. You see my watch, my suit, my necklaces, and everything." Because Ric Flair was the original flashy dude. But I got to ask you, how has Ric Flair become known even amongst today's generation in Europe?
He's doing pretty good, but he's going to them. They're not going to him. They're not going to him. They're not going to him. He's going to them. There's no question because he's doing pretty good with it. Don't get that wrong. But a lot of this is him he wants to die on his terms. I mean, I'm not saying he's dying right now, but he wants to go on his terms because he spent a time having a colostomy bag and barely surviving, and they said you have to stop drinking, and that's what ended his last marriage. And it's like he just wants to go his way, and it's probably going to go in his sleep somewhere, And it's like, congratulations to him doing it his way. Do not get that wrong, but I am forever going to say he's forever immature.
Okay.
He's forever immature, and it's like it's hurt a lot. The biggest thing is at some point in your life, you have to go get a hot 50-year-old. Someone that is just someone you can just absolutely someone you can just have crazy sex with all the time. And they're out there. Why do you think Reddit?
He's got to go get one of those like kind of those gym rats that are like in their 50s.
Yes, and I mean, and they bang better than the 20-year-olds. They do, and it's like he needs that. He's got to, and see the thing is he just did a thing the other night that the AEW is trying to eliminate off the edit. He talked about the women 18 to 28. At the Marriott, I'm at the Marriott. He was doing that. They were going to eliminate it off the deal he did on AEW. And it's like, number one, that's stupid because everybody knows that's him. But number two, why are you saying that at 74?
True.
Why do you say that? There's 100 billion things. You could just say women inside of my limo. You can say women inside my limo. You don't even have to say the ages. Everybody can just dream it. You don't have to say all that. Saying 18 to 28 at 74 sounds ridiculous. It does, and I'm like, I mean, look how many. I'm just saying right now. Go to a gym. Look at the 50-year-olds out there. That they look at now. Look like now. He could just go ridiculous with one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's another problem with Lawler. Lawler refused for all those times, and there's gorgeous 50-year-olds out there, but you got one to go to 22-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, it's all about money. It's all about prestige. We've seen enough 22-year-olds. There's no.
Yeah. I agreed on that one. But it was really, really good for him to show up and deliver this. I think you're gonna see more and more wrestlers. As a matter of fact, like I would have loved for Ron Simmons to show up and do a Florida State hype tape. That would have been awesome.
But here's the thing: he's been so silent for so long. How many people know him?
True.
I mean, they know damn, but how many know him? Damn. But yeah. I mean, how many? I mean, if he would have just stayed in the spotlight, oh my God, that voice is still awesome.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree.
Oh yeah, and it's like, and then they would say, "Don't worry, damn, don't worry if there's the third stringer, we're gonna win anyway." Damn.
Yeah. I know, right? Well, we'll go on to our next topic, and it's our Raw recap from last Monday. And so let's see here. So Randy Orton defeated Dirty Dom in the main event. Rollins versus Jey Uso was set for the World Heavyweight Championship, as a matter of fact, tonight. And Drew McIntyre challenged Sami Zayn. So we've been seeing a little bit of kind of a bounce back and forth because he teamed up with the Judgment Day at Survivor Series. Then he comes out, and one thing I noticed, he came out last Monday, and he was still kind of high-fiving fans, and everything. And he gets in there, and he had this, kind of general, like kind of, okay, I'm going to be cool type of deal or whatever, and being a little calm until, excuse me, Seth Rollins said, well, I'm not going to give you a world title match. I've got to give it to Jey Uso. He kind of earned it. So he, of course, headbutts him and everything. And then Sami Zayn's trying to talk him out of it backstage. And he's like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I do got to earn my way back up. And basically, I'm going to start with you next Monday. So they're facing each other tonight as well. So it should be a loaded Monday Night Raw. But with that being said, I don't know where to go with this one. I mean, he's an anti-hero, he's a face, or a heel, or what? Is this the return of the Scottish psychopath? Is he headed to a full heel turn?
Absolutely, because he's been losing. That's what happens. That's one of the things Vince absolutely did for 40 years. The baby face starts losing, gets a little bit mad. Gets a little bit mad. Then you get more mad. Then he's getting irritated. Then it's like because he's too nice to the fans.
And tried and true with some wrestlers, if you want to be world title material, grow a beard and get bigger. Look at Drew McIntyre back in like the mid 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now look at him now.
Oh yeah, and
like
the beard used to be the beard used to be the bad guy. That's what I hate now. It's because I'll grow the beard, I'll shave it, I'll grow a goatee, I'll shave it, and everything like that. The beard used to be the bad guy. I mean, the funny thing about it is Ted DiBiase grew the beard to be the bad guy, but he looked like a man because he had such a baby face without the beard. Yeah. So truthfully, I think Hulk Hogan brought the facial hair.
Honestly, I mean, I think it's more than just a beard, man. I think DiBiase naturally had a... Notice he never was a face in WWE. That's because he naturally had a villainous look. He could have just had a goatee or just a mustache. He would have still every bit of looked the part. He was the top heel in WWE for a reason. He naturally had to look, and he was just a rich asshole. That's what. Remember, he would pull kids out of the crowd and be like, "All right, you dribble this ball 20 times, I'll give you $100." Get to number 19, he'll kick it out the hand. See, he would do like asshole shit like that, right?
Absolutely.
And he just fit the mold. He was the top heel in the company for a reason.
I'll tell you this, and I like Alberto Del Rio better. Alberto Del Rio as part of the way the gimmick was.
Del Rio was a Mexican DiBiase in a lot.
Yes, he was. And I like him better. I liked it better. Maybe it was because of the production values that you could give with it. It was DiBiase what you do if you gave him the production value. Mm-hmm. And personally, you know why I like Del Rio? Because he had real. Hold on. Excuse me. He dressed real clean. He dressed Excuse me.
Bless you.
He dressed real clean, and he had the same clothes. Not all the same thing. He dressed clean to the ring for his promos. And here's the thing: you knew he was going to take a bump if he was shirtless and maybe had pants.
Yeah.
But if he wasn't going to, he had his clothes,
right,
or he had a half button thing. DiBiase had that stupid cartoon suit on all the time.
In defense of him, it was the 80s. I mean, like Del Rio's was more modernized, but I mean, come on, man. The suit is classic. The suit, the glitter suit, man, and even Virgil's suit was classic.
But here's the thing: what I would have gotten, I get it was classic. If DiBiase is going to bump, wear it. That's a tearaway. That's a tearaway. So bump. Yeah, if he's gonna bump, wear it. If he's going to be on Brother Love and nothing's happening, get him in some clean clothes. Get him in a clean clothes and roll. Give a couple wads to with Brother Love to show that little things like that. He didn't have to show up in that tearaway suit every time. I mean, if he wasn't going to bump, if nothing was going to happen in that segment, you know what I'm saying? Why? Those are the things I didn't understand about the 80s and what it's like. It is like Vince was saying, well, they didn't even know you based off that. It's like, take one look at these guys. They're 265 pounds. Like, somebody ain't going to notice them in a suit.
Yeah, that is true.
They're not going to notice. Like, they're not going to. Macho Man. They're not going to notice him. They're not going to notice him in jeans.
They'll definitely notice DiBiase. I mean, DiBiase was about what, 235, but he was like
he was about 265.
My bad. He's bigger. He was 260, but he was a lean 265 though. Yeah. Like his body structure was like Robert's, Jacob Snake.
Yeah. Oh, it was a little less belly fat. Just kind of trim.
Well, but DiBiase was the rich guy that could fight.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and but those are the things about it. Is like. It's why I never understood the 80s. Maybe I'm not going to say that kind of stuff in the 80s. You're a kid. But it's like, I didn't get, it's like, okay, if there's a segment where he's going to bump or he's going to beat you up, tearaway suit. Simple. But if he's going up to Mean Gene or Craig or Sean Moody or that kind of deal, and no one's coming out, I mean, wear some clothes, wear some good ones. Yeah. I mean, he always has to do that. Why not? It's like it's not like that Jake's would come out and attacking those things and do what they did with Ric Flair and tear stuff apart.
Yeah, pretty much. So I mean, like as far as I will say this much. Tonight, what do you? I don't know if you watched the match between Orton and Dom. You think Orton, still got it in him?
Oh God, he does, but. The thing about it, it makes me sad of this era. It's like it makes me sad of this era, but you see it with Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom should have no business in these guys. It shouldn't, but these are professionals.
But also, I agree that even if he was going to lose to Orton, I agree with Dom. He needs the experience. Because keep in mind that 2 years ago at this time, people were legitimately questioning, was it going to work with Dom? And now. Is it fair to say he's a top 3 heel in the company right now?
Oh, he's a top heel. He's a top heel. It's like my issue is he is in such a rock and a hard place situation in my head. In one case, I say he should not go to the gym if he's going to be a heel. He should keep that physique.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it. He's lean, really. I mean, could he afford to have a little bit more? But, I mean, he's a lean,
I love his look. I love the look of the heel.
Now Ray is more like now he's like stockier, but remember back in WCW in like 98 when he was 155 and
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, but now I mean Ray's more the stockier one, Dom should keep his look. He should keep his look.
I'll tell you, I like the look as a heel. Mm-hmm. I think if he goes to the babyface attack and get him out and come back in 10 weeks.
Although I do have a feeling that if one time he gets injured, don't be surprised if he comes back and he's a little buff like Uncle Eddie because he already has his look. As far as the mullet and you know what I mean?
Oh, he needs to be Uncle Eddie. And it's like, no, come back buff like that if you're babyface. Come back if you're babyface. But like I said, it's a rock and a hard place because I love him as a heel. As far as I never thought I'd say it, but I don't have a belief that he's going. I mean, Orton is a monster.
Yeah.
He's a monster. I don't believe in that. And Edge is really a monster. We don't even see if you put Orton out in the AEW ring, he's gonna look like Big Show.
Yeah.
He's gonna look like Big Show. It's just a different level. It just is. But you get these guys in there every time they go to AEW and it's like, oh my dear God, it's minor leaguers. They're going to the minor leagues. It's just like they're huge. I mean, these are monsters, and it's like, why are they bumping for this guy? It doesn't. There's no realism to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, here in 2 days, Adam Edge Copeland is going to face Christian for the TNT title. But at least they were two originally WWE wrestlers, so that makes. I'm not gonna say it makes sense like nothing else makes sense, in AEW, but
That's realistic.
But also at the same time, if you stick MJF in WWE, does he fit? Does his physique fit?
Yeah, it is starting to now. But no, let me tell you this: Edge and Christian, they've wrestled each other 5,000 times. Had to, whether they were together or against each other. It's so many times. So it's like a Christian who is smaller would know how to get the bigger guy down. It's realistic. That's realistic by sport.
It is.
Yeah,
it is.
It's like it's like Flair. I mean, Edge and Christian are like Flair facing Rhodes.
Yeah, that's true. And then, last but not least, quick preview: World Heavyweight Championship tonight. Rollins, Uso. Your thoughts on the upcoming match? Who do you got to win, or who you think's going to win? And I mean, is it?
There's no clean win on a Raw. There's no clean win on a Raw. That'll be but I mean, that's going to be a tremendous match. That's one of those matches I wish was like the pay-per-view, or I wish was like Gunther. Both of them were like Gunther. Just like, a regular wrestling match like you could be able to get, because those two are great. Oh, yeah. By the way, I just saw the news. They leaked Grand Theft Auto 6 early, and Rockstar had this drag to put it down, to have it down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Insane. Well,
yeah. Welcome to the news world.
Yeah, I have to definitely look at. You know what? It's kind of about time they started work on 6, because 5 came out 10 years ago, and they had been making so much money off of the DLCs. Like, they're like billions of dollars. Like in it's the DLCs, the heist online and everything. Like, man, it's making. I have to go look at the numbers, but I want to say it's making just as much as Call of Duty is online. Like,
oh yeah, no question.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as 5 is one of the best-selling games of all time, even though 4 is my personal favorite in the series, but that's another story for another day. With that being said, we're going to our next topic here. So take a look at this, and what do you think everyone would think about this right here? Because, like it or not, it's more than likely coming. So, report. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns is rumored to be in the works. When is unknown. They just say it's in the works. Is this what wrestling needs?
Wrestling by wrestling standards? No, but wrestling by wrestling standards is a niche. Wrestling by pop culture? Oh yeah. You got to get pop culture. You got to do what we brought up Ric Flair earlier. You brought up Ric Flair earlier and everything like that. Do as much as he's the one that goes to them, it's still his name, and they love to be able to use him. And the pop culture needs wrestling to be able to get that. Hulk Hogan is basically outside of a few things.
Yeah,
he's out. So you need to get names, because Hulk Hogan was it for 35 years. Mm-hmm. He really was. Like Cena would. It's like it's like you're the next Hulk Hogan. It's like 35 years. It's like. 33 years, something like that. I think it all ended like really truthfully, in 15 when that happened. True. But for so long, it was him. Now you got to get names. You got to get a billion names. And it's like CM Punk is in pop culture. Cody Rhodes is in pop culture. Roman Reigns is in pop culture. So do you?
Punk has become pop culture.
Huh?
And Punk, you said Reigns is in pop culture.
Yeah, the
Hogan's in
Punk it
pop
really
culture.
is because he was
And
in
Punk,
MMA.
I'll go as far as saying Punk has become
Yeah.
pop culture.
Yeah. And then Logan Paul's pop culture, Jake Paul's pop culture. These types are pop culture now. And the thing is, if we all want to be pop culture, as much as it drives you nuts to do it on TikTok, it's the way. It's the way it gets you there. It's like more than anything else. It's like, remember, I don't have anywhere near that, but I mean, just one big thing cost 11,000, and I mean that's nothing. There's people that get six figures just by sneezing. But I'm just saying, it just shows the thought process of anything. If you're not known, I mean, I'm just saying this. The reason I bring mine up, I don't have any impressive numbers, but not even being known, I've gotten 5 figures once and 4 figures a few times. And I'm not known.
True.
You get my point? It's like that's the way TikTok does. These are all in that world.
And so something like Punk versus Reigns, I mean, you know what? And I know there's people out there who think, well, this may be Cody Rhodes' opportunity to finish the story. He did inject himself he's the first entrant in the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble match. But if you're going to have Punk versus Reigns, you can't just have it at Elimination Chamber. You can't just have this at I almost said in your house, but the April or May or June or anything like that. No, you have to have this match at the Royal Rumble or Mania or
Rumble.
You wait until SummerSlam. It's got to be at a Big Five, But what I'm thinking is you got to have it at the Rumble. If not, then you have CM Punk win the Rumble and go on to Mania to face Reigns.
Well, I like the Rumble. I like the chance at the Rumble, and wouldn't that be an amazing? Wouldn't it be? And I have a perfect thought process for that event: Rhodes versus CM Punk. Best 2 out of 3 match. Best 2 out of 3 match. 2 of them that night. The next one, the main event, 60-minute Iron Man for the thing.
Wait. You can't just.
No,
you're
I'm thinking
splitting up. You're splitting up in 2 nights.
I'm splitting up the big night. I'm like, even though people would know that's going to be 1-1, but the third one in a match for the ages, split up their match.
Are you thinking like? Okay, I don't know if you remember. No Way Out 2001, Austin versus Triple H. In a match that no one talks about that I think was a highlight in both men's career, but it was 3 stages of hell. The first fall was a straight up wrestling match.
Yeah.
The second fall was it was a street fight. The third fall was a cage match.
Yeah. And the third fall could be, I could see it, the third fall could be the next night.
Yeah.
The next night. They say that's the main event both nights.
Interesting.
I mean, Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. I think it'd sell.
It would. I think it would. I mean, that's a kind of a new concept. We're gonna split the match into 2 nights, but it's probably worth trying out. The thing about it is, if you're gonna have Punk face Reigns at Mania, he has to win, unless you have the winner of the Men's Royal Rumble match challenge the World Heavyweight Champion. But outside of that, you got to have Punk win the Rumble and challenge Reigns. But then there's also the talk that Reigns may retain at WrestleMania 40 so he can catch Hulk Hogan.
You could also, here's the deal too, you could also have, if you weren't going to do the third night or both nights, you could have the Bret Hart, Undertaker, Yokozuna, Lex Luger deal. CM Punk, Cody Rhodes first night winner faces Reigns in the last one.
So co-Royal Rumble winners? Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. You could do something like that, and the next one faces Reigns for the whole thing.
Well, okay, so co-Royal Rumble winners, but what you're saying is Punk versus Rhodes, and the winner will go and face Reigns.
Yep. The next night.
Okay, instead of if Rhodes and Punk were co-winners of the Royal Rumble, and Reigns and And the WWE title would be defended twice.
Yes.
Yes. So it would be Punk versus Reigns. The winner of that faces Rhodes or whatever.
Or whatever, either way, you know what I'm saying? Or your Reigns can wait the next night, and it could be those two.
I think that actually may work better than the other one.
Yeah, like the idea. I love the idea like that. It's because that's both nights instead of truthfully, like you'd see those matches like with Zayn and Kevin Owens. There are matches that you see that are main events, like it could be opening matches.
It could.
It could be opening matches. That's not an insult again. The insult is like second or third match. That's the insult. But it's like the first match is the thing. You're opening the show.
WrestleMania 10, guess what the opening match was?
That was Bret and Owen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a slap to either man's face.
No, that was Bret and Owen. And it's like, and how many times did John Cena opening match before he went to Hollywood?
Oh, yeah. But you know, at that point, it's like, I know whether Lesnar's opened up at Mania before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he opened up to defend against Rollins.
You don't want the second, third, or fourth match because those are when people go to the bathroom. Those are when people all that. That's when it's like you don't want that. It's like you want the main draw.
Yeah.
That's the first match or the last.
Yeah, and that's why Heyman said, if we're not going to go on last, we're going on first.
Yeah.
So with that being said, quickly here. This is your edition, by the way. So best mob boss characters in wrestling history. This actually was pretty hard.
I was thinking. Let me say this part. I didn't think of the characters. I think who would have been great mob bosses.
Okay.
I want to think who would be the great mob bosses. Like I will give this for example. We've been talking about Monsoon. We've talked about that last couple of weeks. But another one I think about, Nick Bockwinkel.
Yep.
Clean, everything like that. Did he ever lose his temper? Not really. Maybe as a baby face he got screwed, and it would be like 2 minutes and done. He'd cool off. It was Bobby Heenan that had to raise a complete utter hell.
Yeah.
He did all the complete raising utter hell. You got to have your personality. I mean, Nick Bockwinkel would be that guy you've got to get to. I've got you now, and then he tears you up.
Yeah.
He tears you up. And to me, I think that is the biggest mistake. That's the biggest mistake that Vince made is he made his baby faces way strong. I mean, you want them strong. Don't get that wrong. But they've got it. Like I said, there was no way they would ever have Stone Cold get slaughtered by Monsoon, an old Monsoon. But it would be like I said, if you do this type of thing, that would be like the Kingpin.
Yeah.
How you don't know that he's just the guy that's the money maker. Oh crap! I'm going through a wall now.
Yeah,
I'm going through a wall, and it's like that's the thing. I could see Nick Bockwinkel's not built like that, but you could see him twisting you up and breaking you apart.
Yeah,
just because of all the moves he knows, and then him mocking you. And I could see his care. I could see us building you and I like building a video game, and it would be like a mob boss, and it looks like Bockwinkel.
Yeah,
and then he's saying all those big words he said, and you know what I mean, like the Cretinous humanoid. He'd be saying that kind of stuff while he's twisting you up in the knots.
And you know what? And here's the thing: while we're on the topic here, you say mob boss or mob boss like characters, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking like who would be a great mob boss mindset.
Okay. I'm gonna bring him up again. Del Rio.
Yeah.
Look at how he dressed. Look at how he lived. Look at his cars. Look at how he acted. He was aristocratish. Tell me you couldn't imagine him as a cartel boss.
And when I say mob boss, I also think of I also think of Corleone's. Like Sonny was the temperamental one. His dad never got temperamental. The big boss never got temperamental. When I say mob boss, I'm talking about the head mob bosses. You never saw them that. I'm talking about on camera. They were the cool. They had the muscle to hire to lose their temper.
Yeah.
They were the cool. That's why I brought up. And Vince McMahon could be another. The only thing that would make them is they can't lose their temper so dang much.
That's true.
It's like the idea of it is you're about screwed.
Yep.
You're about screwed. And I'll tell you, Hulk and Immortal, they did that wrong in TNA.
Oh yeah.
When he played heel, they did it so wrong because he showed up on TV too much, considering his back. What they could have absolutely done, he's mob boss. He could have mob bossed it where where Sting has to go through the gauntlet to get to him.
Yeah.
And then got to get to him, and then that gives him weeks of resting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gives him weeks of resting
because they got to get to him.
And they got to get to him. It gives him weeks, and then when he finally gets him, then he takes you out with a blackjack.
Yeah.
He takes you out with a blackjack and beats you to death. They're going bloody, and it's like there's the thing, and that's what you. It's like that's the way you get him over without showing him. But he had to be on. But his ego wouldn't allow that. He had to be on TV too much, and he really didn't have the. He didn't have the health to do that.
Yeah, that's true. He had to get as much exposure as he could. Well, our final
but
topic.
Who do you think would be great? Who do you think would have been great?
Man, I said McMahon. You brought up an interesting point though, because the mob boss they don't get angry often. Because typically, if a mob boss gets tempered angry, someone dies.
Yeah.
But even then, someone dies when they're calm too. So that's why sometimes they're unpredictable. You know what? I would say Del Rio. Honestly, if we're talking about that realm, that world, I would say Del Rio. Also Vince McMahon. The only thing is Vince shows up too much.
A mob boss would have been awesome. Would have been Hans from Die Hard.
Well, he kind of was the leader of the group.
Yeah, but he was the leader. But I'm just talking about he would have been great if you would have given an Italian accent. He'd been phenomenal, Alan Rickman, just because he was clean.
Yeah, well, yeah,
he was clean, and he didn't lose his temper till the last 10 minutes.
He didn't. To a certain extent, not to a certain extent, all the way. Hans was worse than Simon. He was worse than his brother. He just was.
Yeah.
Hans was willing to blow up like pregnant women, like everybody in the building and everything, right? Whereas even Simon had a limit.
And I think if Jake the Snake Roberts would have been a wonderful one.
Roberts would have been perfect. He'd have to cut his hair, but Roberts would have been perfect.
Oh my God! He looks like a mob boss now with that short hair.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like it. Just put him on the thing, and it's like, and those promos.
Yeah.
Those promos are like on video while waiting for you, and you're trying to get to it, and it's like just little things like that I think about. You know what I mean? It's like how calm. I like when I bring up the mob bosses, I'm like, yeah, you lose your temper at times, but not all the time. Because otherwise, otherwise you wouldn't hire your muscle to do your job.
True.
And it's like the idea of the mob boss is he's capable. Ted DiBiase would have been one. He's capable. He's capable of doing it. But it's like Ted DiBiase gave me that thought process because he hired everybody to go beat you up. But once you got in the ring with him, he was capable.
Yeah, of course. He was the rich guy that could fight.
Yeah.
Because, usually when it comes to mob bosses, it's like, no, I've got hired muscle that take care of you. Fists, guns, blackjacks, brass knuckles, explosives, whatever you want. Structured wise, the Don is not supposed to lift a finger, But when you finally got to DiBiase, it's like, oh, wow, this guy can actually fight. Cool. Even though theoretically, for much of his career, his tenure, he had Virgil, and that's it.
Yeah.
Then later on, he had the $1 Million Corporation,
Yeah. That was a horrible corporation.
But by that time, he was done in the ring.
But I'll tell you this. I'll say this part here. It's like you talk about something like that. Those types whatsoever, just like, but you could get this. But think about this. DiBiase as a babyface, WCW, that was horrible, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was terrible.
But no, those are the types I think about. I think about those all the time. It's like, who loses their mind? It's like, truthfully, like you couldn't have the Cactus Jack as a mob boss. He's too crazy. He's too crazy. He's not centered enough.
He gets too hype. Yeah, and yeah. I mean, Cactus Jack, Foley, Dude Love, they had some mental issues. You have to be mentally stable to be a Don. You just do.
And you do, because you have to do the thought, and those are the things. It's like, I think about Al Capone. Al Capone, but he still built soup kitchens. He built the things for. And we're not saying he's the greatest, but he had the heart inside of that thing. You have to do those little things. You have to think of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we do got to get on to our last topic here, and that's our weekly finisher DQ. So we're going to bring up CM Punk again, but check this out. Finisher DQ. Paul Heyman will turn on Roman Reigns and rejoin CM Punk, leading to a championship loss for Reigns. Pretty hard, huh?
Yes, it's hard, and that's tough, and I'm going to have to say either, because that's a tough one, because Reigns has to leave for a while, where to make this work, he has to leave for a while, where a coward like Heyman isn't going to see it coming.
Okay.
He isn't going to see it coming, and it's like he's got to get this, and then you get the music, and then he's going to piss his absolute pants. But it's like. But he's got to have this. Reigns has to go for a while, maybe go to a movie, rest a little bit for that to work. If he's back in 2 weeks, I mean, it doesn't have the same thing. Literally, Heyman is one of those guys. Heyman is the mob boss's lawyer. He's the cowardly lawyer.
Of course.
And he's the cowardly lawyer of what they call advocate, the cowardly lawyer of Brock Lesnar. The idea of it, that's the thing about wrestling. Not everybody's a tough guy. You have the legal action of the tough guy, the legal counsel of the tough guy. It's like, and those are the things. And like you get someone like Paul Heyman. I compare him to Bobby Heenan in one way. Bobby Heenan, and I know we got to go soon. I apologize. Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan was the small-time con artist that hit it big once.
Yes.
He's the small-time con artist that probably stole the jacked cars. Probably jacked cars.
Yeah.
And he probably jacked cars when he was early. He had
a chop shop or two, yeah.
Chop shop or two. He did small-time stuff, and then he wanted bigger, and he caught one just at the end. Just to get, he hits his dream. That's Flair. You get my point. Everything else, he pretends to be the man.
Yeah.
He pretends to be. Paul Heyman is the guy that goes to every giant bank as someone that he looks poor and he wants to open a bank account, and he's stealing everybody's money.
Yeah.
That's the difference. One is a lawyer type, the con artist, Gordon Gekko. The other is a small-time con artist who made it big.
Yeah. But you know what? Who's to say Heyman didn't start off small time and just got smarter along the way? When you get smarter, you make bigger moves.
Well, yeah, but I loved Heyman and Heenan. I loved their thought process. I love that Heenan didn't dress so great. It was just pants and a jacket. I like that because it gives that small-time con artist trying to make it big.
Crooked used car salesman?
Yeah, the crooked used car salesman. He looks like he's trying to make it big. Even those little fake studs on the back of his Bobby Heenan jacket still looked small-time.
Mm-hmm.
It was there, but it looked small-time. You would get and then you get Heyman, who looked like the yuppie of the 80s. That he was stealing from Wall Street. That he was doing all that. I like the looks of it. Heenan always had a thought process of the guy that's smaller that thinks he can be bigger.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But the crazy part is like, okay, nowadays he's in suits, but look at what he was doing when he was in ECW.
Yeah, absolutely.
ECW, I'll put it to you like this. ECW, he was street. As an organization as a whole, it was street.
Yeah.
But then he eventually made his way to the corporate side.
Yeah, and it's like, and that's like he eventually did, but then he was also the yuppie in the WCW, and I look at the yuppie who stole from Wall Street. I've always looked at that. That's why I will always appreciate Bobby Heenan. He was into the gimmick. He wore suits, but it never looked fancy. But you did everything. I like Bobby. As he constantly looked like the small-time con artist who thinks I got just one shot. That's why I kept going after Hogan.
Yeah.
Kept going after Hogan, and better yet, he kept losing. Then at the end of his career with his neck so bad, he catches it.
Yeah.
He gets Flair and he gets the gold. Finally.
You know,
and that's the way to go.
It was like Heenan was the small-time con artist that went after the brand, the corporation, which was Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
But he wasn't vindicated until years later when the same guy, the same brand, turned out to be crooked. And Heenan's like, I
told you.
I told you. I tried to tell you all these years he wasn't no good.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, I'll tell you this, he with his neck bad, he gets Flair. And he gets the gold before he has to go straight to the thing for good. Then he lets it up. And guess what? He leaves and goes to the booth for good. He's the stall-time con artist that got his money. And he gets to retire.
Yeah. Yep, he does. Well, that's going to do it for us. We're about 5 minutes out from Monday Night Raw, so please enjoy the program tonight. Also, you can catch replays of this on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, DBTV, and Stream TV. Be sure to check us out on Wednesday. Wednesday on Sideline Sports. Also follow Philly Jim, that's Tatum Time 12, on YouTube, and for week 14 picks for the Gauntlet Presents Picked Off. Also, shout out to our people out there at the South Florida Tribune. Catch us on the Pundits Pundit this Thursday, and then Friday, of course, the Gauntlet. Sideline Sports Show also tomorrow. College Football Fridays. Brushing back with Kobe White. Also, First and 56, our Indianapolis Coach Show. Those guys are having a good season. Kind of a duke out between them and my Texans, man. So we'll see what's going on. I have to make an appearance on the show there, Rondo. I hope you're watching this, man. So for the Sniper and the Pundit, this has been Top Rope Talk. We will see you in 7.